Hey people, it is Tuesday, May 11th, and it is 1:39 in the afternoon. And I'm here at the corner of Yonge Street and Wellesley Street East, and I'm just looking down at this cool old map of Toronto circa 1858. At least of this neighborhood, not the whole city, just of the area where we are right now. And there's a look east down Wellesley Street. And for this walk, I will be zigzagging east and west along these side streets between Bay Street and Church Street. This is sort of like a part 2 of a video that I just finished recording, where I was doing the same thing, starting further south at Wood Street. And I just thought I'd divide it up into 2 videos, 2 30-minute videos, or manageably long videos instead of one very long video. It is around 9 or 10 degrees and rather windy, and which is unseasonably cool for this time of year. And there's somebody having a little fit over there. And that is Wellesley subway station with the angry little man there. So we're just walking towards the heart of the Church Wellesley village. Well, he's still yelling and he's not having a good day. Here's the Sunnybrook Holland Orthopedic and Arthritic Center. It's part of the Sunnybrook Hospital. The main Sunnybrook Hospital campus is way up on Bayview Avenue, north of Lawrence, I believe. So these side streets, oftentimes I'll be walking along one of the main streets in my videos, and I'll just sort of pan down these side streets as I pass by, but I haven't really walked along many of them. I have done Wellesley Street, obviously. It's not really a side street, it's a major street, but some of the streets coming up I might have touched on briefly as I pass by. But this is where I'll make a point to actually give them a proper video treatment. Some of them are very attractive with lots of historic old homes and beautiful old apartment buildings, and of course now lots of modern condo towers. So here we are at Church Street. So this is the heart of the Church Wellesley village. And I have done a number of videos through here. Came through here in a recent live stream, actually. And this is the old beer store that will be soon demolished to make way for a new residential development. And there's Barbara Hall Park. And now we'll begin our walk along some of these side streets. Here's Dundonald. And this is Stormcrow Manor. It is a fairly new bar slash restaurant that sort of specializes in nerd culture. It's a place to go if you want to be amongst nerdy type people. I'm not sure what kind of stuff they have inside there, but I imagine it's pretty interesting. I haven't been there yet. Here's a beautiful old apartment building. This part of the city is quite a mixture of these old heritage houses, many of them row houses, and these old early 20th century apartment buildings, and these mid-century slab apartment towers, and of course the newer glass condos. Many of these have just sprung up in the last 5 to 10 years. I'd say almost all of them actually in this shot right here. 10 years ago, none of these were here. Not even one of them. There's some more modern homes here. It's still rather attractive and urban. And that one looks like it's being renovated. And also some more modern looking row homes here. And this entrance to Wellesley subway station is fairly new. Actually, I've never used it yet. And this old looking building is actually a reconstruction of an original structure that stood here on the corner, which they demolished for this condo tower. but then they reconstructed it again, but it doesn't look quite as old and historic as it actually looked. But hopefully when it's done, it'll look sufficiently historical. Yeah, we've reached Yonge Street here. I'm going to cross. The streets very rarely line up properly crossing Yonge Street. There's always a bit of a jag unless it's a major street such as Wellesley or Bloor or Dundas. But these small side streets, Toronto just doesn't like to line up the streets. And they also don't like to maintain the same name after you cross Yonge Street. So now this is St. Joseph Street. And this is one of my favorite old rows in the city here. It looks every bit as authentic as the day it was built. I don't think it's really changed much. Not sure if that's a vaccination site there. It might be. I wonder if I could find out what year this old row home was built here. It's definitely 19th century. I've done a walking along these laneways before, and a live stream as well. We'll continue west here. I'd say this is one of the most attractive little side streets. Almost every building is historical or beautiful. Even this old apartment building here is plain, but it's still very attractive. Clover Hill Apartments. There's a very cold wind blowing. Almost feels like a winter wind. And here we are at Bay Street. Look south down Bay Street. Okay, now here's Irwin Avenue. We'll head back eastward again. This wind is really something else here. Here's the other side of that old apartment building that I was admiring. So I guess you could live in this building and live on either St. Joseph or Irwin Avenue. I guess the address is actually St. Joseph though. Whoa. And some rather attractive attached housing. And this one also fronts onto St. Joseph Street. So look down St. Nicholas Street. And all of a sudden the wind just died off. Here we are back at Yonge Street. And as you can see, once again, the streets do not line up. And they changed names again. So this is Gloucester Street on the other side. There's a shot looking straight down Yonge. And north. And another condo tower is on the rise here. There's Norman Jewison Park, named after the filmmaker who was from Toronto, the director. Here we have Bumpkin's Restaurant. And some of these rather modern looking row homes here. And I don't know how you pronounce that. Wabanus Lane? And of course the ubiquitous mid-century slab apartment buildings. More modern row homes here. These ones are rather funky looking. And then you have some more heritage homes here. And there's a nice older apartment building. Well, I guess this lane forms a U shape. I think lots of these homes date from the late 19th century. Here's another one of these older low-rise apartment buildings that I really like. And now we're back at Church Street. There's a look south into the village. And the sun has come out again. Here comes the sidewalk cyclist. And of course he's delivering. Alright, now here's Isabella Street. So we'll begin our walk westward again. I think I have come down Isabella Street in some other videos. Matter of fact, I know I have. See a new tower rising there to join all its tower siblings here. And there's another nice low-rise apartment. Certainly there are enough big trucks parked around here. All these construction guys. And looks like a 4-story residential and office building will rise here in front of this slab apartment. And here's the Children's Aid Society. And I admit I don't know what that stands for. OCUFA. I'm gonna guess O is Ontario. The Royal Thai Consulate General, Toronto. There's the Artful Dodger pub. I believe this pub here is where the Toronto subreddit community had their monthly meetings. I am a member of the Toronto subreddit, but I never went to any of the monthly meetings. Here we are back at Yonge Street. Now these two streets on either side do not even come close to lining up. So we'll just take a little jaunt up here, across the street. And this is the building owned by the Church of Scientology, where they had their Toronto headquarters. It's been shuttered for years now. They were planning to do a big renovation, but it just never seemed to get anywhere. And they currently have their offices elsewhere in the city. So who knows if that will ever happen. The building definitely looks worse for wear now. What are you honking at me for? I'm actually walking across the street, person. So now this is St. Mary Street. And here's another old, similar building to the Scientology building. And there is a development proposal here. I think they'll be retaining this old structure though.
So bad, I'm so awkward. No.
Here we are, back at Bay Street once again. And this is Charles Street. Looks like this Starbucks survived the great culling. The great Starbucks culling of 2021. And here's the Manulife Center. It's the giant brutalist apartment complex dating from the beginning of the 1970s. And it was the tallest building in the Bloor-Yorkville area for decades, until I think the Four Seasons Hotel and Residence surpassed it. about 10 years ago. And ever since then, there's just been an onslaught of new towers that have surpassed it. So now in skyline shots, you can barely see the Manulife Center now when you're looking at the Yorkville end of the skyline. And there's an awesome restaurant at the top, though, that still has one of the best views in the city. And did I mention this was Charles Street? Okay. Now I could continue down Charles to Church, but I have walked along that part of Charles many times in other videos. That's one of my favorite blocks in the city. So I think what I'll do is I'll go down to this mysterious little alleyway that I always walk by and have never went into. So I think I'll go into there right now. So this is St. Nicholas Street. I have done a number of walks down here. So this is Cottage Lane. I think this is a little U-shaped laneway. And these are the backs of buildings fronting onto Yonge Street. And you can see we got some interesting fire escapes back here. Not as tall as I like my fire escapes, but nevertheless, when you can go right up onto the roof. And here we are, back at St. Nicholas Street. So I think I'll wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed this walk going to and fro along the side streets between Church and Bay, heading north from Wellesley up here to Cottage Lane, just off of Charles Street. So yeah, be sure to leave a comment below and like and share, and of course subscribe, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. I've been this pigeon's looking at me like he wants food. And if you'd like to support the channel, there's a link in the description where you can do so via PayPal. And you can find me on Instagram under KContinuum. So thanks for watching, and be sure to keep checking back because, as always, I will continue.